Birds of a feather flock together is what they say. I think the world stage wizards all have something in common. Some of my other videos, I think, obviously they're underground. They have caves that have been basically renovated because they're not new. This 100 years or whatever, this past century, they didn't build all that stuff. That stuff's been there for a long time. And all they're doing is making it bigger and adding things and adding high-speed trains with Elon, with the Boring Company. But anyways, referring to when they go up, in my other videos, I'm showing, a lot of their symbolism and through music, where they're signaling to the fact that they're going to be waiting it out when things go down here, and they'll come back when it's over. And then of course you got nuclear powered planes, but they even call them hotels in the sky. Makes sense that that's possible. It all comes down to gases, right? So the helium, it floats. It's one of the lighter gases. Water, heavy gas. That's what holds down the oceans, not gravity. I've been trying to find out anything about Bezos' history. This actually stood out to me. This is interesting, because he supposedly has a stepdad from an early age. And so I didn't really look at the actual dad too much, because the stepdad really stands out. Check it out. This is who his stepdad is. Oddly enough, you got pictures of him with the Black Pope. So when they take Shatner up there and they take these other guys, what are they showing them, if it's, not CGI. So whenever they had Shatner do that interview, and this is like a while back now, last year, 2 years, of course that was staged for him to say everything he said. Don't forget, he's an actor. Actors are always acting. We're never seeing who they really are. So it obviously ties into what they have planned for us. He mentioned something that the Bilderberg meetings, they say a lot.
Important fact that moved me to tears is when I saw the bright blue covering of Earth that's only 50 miles wide, and we plunged through it at 2,500 miles an hour, broke through it, and then all of a sudden, like a punch in the face, there was the blackness of space, and none of the mystery of the twinkling stars, the galaxies, just pure blackness, because the sun was in my face and the window, and whatever the reasons were. Space is cold, and ominous.
I'm so glad I did that little stutter edit. Wow. Didn't see that the first time. Look at the CGI object go by in the window. But after it passes the window, you shouldn't see it anymore. What do they call that? Augmented reality?
And ugly, and it really threatens death. There's death there. And you look down, and there's this warm, nurturing planet. We've all heard it's cliche now, vulnerable, fragile, and all that kind of thing. But it's even more than that. That's death up there and life down here. And between the two, ruining this planet as we are, we're on the verge to bring you the good news that we're at the tipping point. We haven't got time to wait 30 years and and argue about a few $1 billion, which we should, how much should we invest in global warming? We're there. And so all these terrible things happening in the body politic is merely a hesitation before we all, I mean, it's just terrible. And
are you surprised by how impacted you were?
Flabbergasted. 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 I was sobbing, and I couldn't control it because I was overwhelmed. It was like a death in a life. I couldn't control it for several minutes afterwards. And although I've been speaking about it today because everybody's interested, it apparently went viral. It hit the news, viral all over the world. I wrote a song in my album that I've got out now called I didn't think consciously bringing back the message, but I was wondering why am I crying? What is overwhelmed me with emotion to the point that I could hardly speak? I'm an actor. I should have been able to control it. I was unable to. It was like hearing the death of someone you love, and suddenly the world no longer exists, but this blinding emotional moment.
Well, look, I wouldn't shy away from it because I think the authenticity of it is what is so impressive to so many.
This philosophy of getting rid of the polluting industries up there is a very practical one. The technology exists now, but we have to do something about global warming now before we all are affected by it.
Saying this all the time, that we only have 7 years to get everything right. And always saying that in the UN meetings. And then the coming catastrophe or cataclysm. I mean, they're just over and over again teasing us, man. As they shove climate change down our throat. Is it changing? Oh yeah, they're turning up the heat for sure. The ice is melting. The ice shelves that hold the water in their containers or craters that they sit in. The water comes flooding in on top of weapons to be able to create crazy earthquakes and all kinds of other things through these electromagnetic waves and pulses. It's controlled chaos, advanced weapon systems causing the change. I had a question the other day. Who makes most of CERN's equipment? Well, we wouldn't assume the main computer guy wouldn't be a part of it. But of course, that's what posed the question in my mind in the first place. IBM. We know who that is. I'm just showing you how they all work together, that's all. IBM funds the tech for all the wars. And of course, they know all about what CERN really is. So we're in 2022, right? Off the Gregorian. Who really knows? But a few. So is this next 7 years leading up to 2030, their revelations that they're bringing on? They just use a different name. Great Reset. And of course, in Revelations, there's 22 books. 22 syncretism is all over the place. Master Builder number 22. Just like the 2 T's, the 2 towers. Trump Tower, the double T's, the double cross. That he likes to use tower because he knows all about Tesla's technology. They are the ones in control of it. very interesting to me, and it makes me question what I've questioned, maybe others have as well before. Did Tesla even exist? And I don't know either way, but what I found right here is crazy. You ever hear of this mythology called Bashango creation myth? Goes like this. The Bashango are a central Bantu tribe of the Lunda cluster. They have a long history despite being fairly unknown among the Bantu tribes. Their origin story is one of the strangest because it begins with a stomachache. Now, come on, obviously, that's a metaphor for an explosion. And that also lines up with the other mythologies, how it's all different names. For an example, when Earth is Gaia, it'll say, for instance, Kronos, all the other planets, Zeus, they all came from Gaia. So it goes, in the beginning there was nothing but darkness. Hindu starts like that as well. Water and Bumba was on his own. Then one day he was in great pain in his stomach. His comfort grew so great that he vomited up the sun. The sun spread his lights across the world. The heat from the sun dried up the water and the black sands, and it goes on. This is where it gets real good now. It says, Bomba's stomachache continued as he retched up 9 animals. The leopard, the chested eagle, the crocodile, a fish, the tortoise, the white heron, 1 beetle, a goat named Budai, Setsi, lightning. So, bam. Tesla, what was Tesla all about? Tesla is using lightning, harnessing the energy of the ether. So here in this old mythology, not very known at sea, is lightning. It says the last creature to come forth out of Bamba was man. Only Tsetsi, which is lightning, caused trouble. She was so bad she had to be confined to the sky, from which place she still sometimes strikes her old home in anger. Just like I've shown in other videos also, that the word Tesla in reverse is a word all set. Fair enough, that's a word, but it's not a coincidence. All set, like I've shown, is also a nuclear power company. And so when you look at their website, you see an image in the background. It's literally a CERN portal and a black hole ripping through the earth. So I'm just saying, they're all tied in together. So at the very least, I see where they got the wordplay for the name Tesla. And so if Nikola Tesla was an actual person, it wasn't his last name, and this is most likely where they took the name from. Just like it seems a lot of ancient technology and secrets came out of Africa, just like I showed in another video where Africa even got its name from. If you do your homework on that, it lets you know that the Vatican's been in control of Africa for a very long time. One of the Vatican guys that went over there, his name was Africanus. And before that, that area was called Carthage, or the Garden of Eden. So, something to think about. Question, where's all of Elon's 52 missions really going? What are they really doing? Because again, I don't believe they're going to Mars. They're not going up. Space is anywhere from the center point. So, are we in space, or are we in a space? As they have us killing each other off, as well as chaotic weather increasing, potential fake alien invasion, which I think is inevitable. It's in their plan, it's in their playbook, all engineered by the dark magicians. And they'll probably blame it on AI. That's why they have Elon always prepping your mind for it with the interviews.
I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know.
A lot of movies from Hollywood show AI takeover, setting off the nukes, all the TV drama, court dramas, all to keep our minds occupied. Brainwashed, confused, lost, numb, and while people are more separated than ever, the plan's working perfectly for them. I mean, they divided people to the point arguing every opinion instead of expanding your mind, willing to learn and intake information. A lot of it seems from an ego standpoint, but arguing pre-programmed points that they never even looked into themselves. Twilight Zone music is background music in my life anymore. I was mentioning Trump Tower. I put all the syncretisms and connections between him and the Tesla technology, and the fact that he's one of the most hidden magicians out of them all, because he was able to make most of the world believe that he's for the people. But the signs and symbols never lie to me. They might not register to everyone, but once they do, you can't be convinced of anything, because they always got to show their hand, literally. I look at this alchemical symbol, one of the seals of Solomon. As soon as you look at it, you can see what it is. It's Wardenclyffe Towers. It's Tesla Tower. Same symbolism. They're speaking a language right there. Alchemical language. Metaphysical. Now look at that symbol closely. It's the same symbol they're using in alchemy for transcendence, the AO, the triangle and the O, triangle and the circle. Also what it is, I mentioned it before, it's hard to show people that portray a hero, or, you know, they portray him as a hero. It's hard to show people that he's a part of the game, but he is. Like I've shown before, Maga in Sanskrit means magician. And this is coming from someone that's nor right or left. I'm not even on that plane at all. I understand what red and blue is all about. I don't make videos about Biden, really, because I don't even know. I don't even think that's the real Biden. I think it's an empty shell, clone, robot body, glitches out all the time. The only thing I would ever say about him is one of the names Orsini supposedly goes under is Baden, close to Biden. And then also Baden is the forensics, the top forensics guy that ended up getting a hold of Epstein's body. From my view, he's tied to the Orsinis. His last name is Baden. That's one of the names they go under in this kind of world. I think that's a coincidence.
Keep on dreaming. Keep dreaming. Is that what it is?
All these different countries rocking these same symbols is not on accident. Another one I notice, he happens to use the double phoenix. Who else uses that? There's a lot. Symbolism's the key, my friends. We're in the Matrix world. Trump's uncle was the engineer to get a hold of Tesla's technology, John Trump. But really, they unlocked the ancient technology. Funny, the Anunnaki story, they give us Inky and Enlil, right? But here's the Inca. When I was a young guy, 18, 17, something like that. Started reading a lot, read the Bible, and I was always one to think deep on almost anything I was seeing or looking at. When I read Revelation, and I remember how they portray what they're showing you as the Antichrist, rich, powerful, things like that. For some reason, Trump came to my mind, and that was way back then. He wasn't in the public eye the way he is now. But as a kid, even I knew that he worked with the mafia families to get the contracts and the buildings and all that. So that's not hard to figure out. He's not building nothing without them involved. That applies to Vegas. And of course, those 5 families are lines off the real 5 families from the Vatican, the papal bloodlines. Papal. Flip those 2 P's around, Babel. And online, one of your ways you could pay for something, PayPal, Papal. take a deep dive into Trump's coat of arms. Number one, notice the arrow on top. So in magic, that arrow symbolizes a spell being casted. And it's been said too that they call Trump the tip of the spear. It's the tip of the spear right here. And of course there's a knight on his coat of arms, a knighted family or knighted individual, to say the least. Like most bloodlines, coat of arms, these specific bloodlines, I mean the banking families, these dynasties and houses that have been in power the whole time, they reveal a lot through simply their coat of arms, if you know what to look for and you know what these symbols all mean. You also have the hand breaking through the box, Pandora's box, or the box in the cube, saw Saturn symbolism. Random thought, wonder if Trump is really from the break spears, being the tip of the spear. Might be something to it. Used to be Drumpf, way back before he was born, 1700s, it was Drumpf.
And it is a known fact that all the presidents that have, well, reigned in the United States have all been related. So let's have a look at what the media has to say. If all presidents are related, which of the 2017 candidates will be the next president? As it turns out, both Trump and Hillary Clinton are related to John of Gaunt, a 14th century royal. Gaunt was the first Duke of Lancaster, who was the son of King Edward III. According to MyHeritage, Trump is related through his mother, Mary Ann McLeod, back to his 17th grandfather, John Beaufort, while Clinton is related through her father and the Rodham family back to the 17th great-grandmother, Joan Beaufort. The two candidates are 19th cousins, and so they both have the right bloodlines to continue this lineage. Now,
if you take the Vatican way back when they were Vikings, that symbol was a triple horn. Coincidence. They ran out of logos again. Logo generator. And then of course you got the box itself on the warp speed. The black box. Or the cube. And it's inside of a circle, but instead of a swastika, it's more so a 3 inside of there, just like the Google Chrome. In Alchemy, it means vortex, portal basically, producing heat. On the Trump International logo, he's got North symbolism. The symbol for North. These are the guys that have all the secrets of the North Pole, secrets of Antarctica, what's on the other side. X marks the spot. That's the crossing. It's the North Pole. And again, coincidence that Russia has the double of this other one I came across. It's a Trump organization in New York. Very intricate, huh? A lot going on in there. It's a maze, the cube, and it's got the same center logo as actually Mercedes, but the warp speed logo that I showed you. What's the point? Just showing you how they're all tied in. Also came across this. I've shown before, the first Reebok logo had the T in it, the same T that Tesla uses, tetragrammaton, that capital T. And there's no T in the word Reebok. Anyways, one of their older ones now off the classics. You remember this one? But really look at what we're seeing here. Made me think of this, Knights of Malta. Oh, I feel like I'm having a Mandela effect. Mandela would know all about that, huh? Now looking at this, you can see where they look alike. So, we already know, and I showed him some other videos how I'm tying in Aleister Crowley to the Rosenberg Orsini's, one of the papal bloodlines. And either way, he comes from the same bloodline as Bush's mother. You could see it. Saxe-Coburg Gotha. So again, the royal family, they hide the name Berg tucked in their name, just like the Pope, Bergoglio, name's always there. But is it possible it's all one big family? I got other videos where I'm showing you that Space Force logo is basically half of the hexagram. Triangle going up, triangle going down. Put it together. The hexagram is an X. It's the odds that in Aleister Crowley, the Book of the Law, it's a symbol he uses. There's a lot more to Crowley than meets the eye. They've always swept him under the rug like a satanic occultist, which he is, but this guy was an agent. This guy was MI6, British intelligence. I mean, and if he is tied into these royal bloodlines and the Orsini's, he comes from the houses that own the government. Why do you think they use the same symbols in the government? The star, the 5-point star, the 6-point star. Again, where do you think the concept of the gray aliens and the big-headed little aliens came from? Aleister Crowley is the one that drew that first depiction of what they call Ayahuasca, AI. A lot of occults worship this guy, follow the teachings. Pointed this out already too, but I think even in sports, the all-star game in occult world is really secretly a tribute to Alister, all-star. Here, let me show you some coincidences real quick. Not only the similarities in the look, but he actually does know Crowleys, because the Crowleys still live on. Names all over the place in government, politics. It's been said that Trump, his lineage could trace all the way back to the Israel tribes. And so one of them is called the tribe of Dan. And each one of them obviously have their symbols and logos that they use on their coat of arms. And so there's 4 of them for the tribe of Dan. And now look at this. Where do you see this symbol a lot? The eagle, which looks like a phoenix, you know, or it is a phoenix, they say. Again, countless coat of arms for different countries use that, or the double. It's letting you know that these are the original bloodlines, or at least the hijack version. And so another one is the snake. Come back to that. Then you have the scales, and then the horse, the pale horse. Behold the pale horse. And then I've shown this before. Who else uses the white horse? Russia. So that snake. Now again, this is all prophecy, them putting Trump in place, him having the name Trump as the trumpet, Trump card. And do you remember when he first got in? Do you remember the snake speech? He didn't make it up, but he definitely said it for a reason. These are all virtue signals for the ones I could see to let you know what time we're in here and what they got going on.
Take me in, O tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. I have saved you, cried the woman, and you've bitten me, heavens why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Oh, shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in.
So I read both of these books about Trump from the early 1900s. One was called 1900, or The Last President. 1900 being Pennsylvania Avenue. And the other book is about his son, Marvelous Underground Travels of Baron Trump. He's got a son named Baron that's like 17, 18. Yeah, a Baron is a title amongst the royalty families, but what's the odds? In the book there's a Master Don. They go underground and they end up, there's a whole underground royal society just like up here, down there. They call her in this book, that they call her Queen Galaxa. But the point is the fact that they wrote this over 100 years ago. Some of the other books Ingersoll Lockwood wrote, and this guy's another occultist, alchemist, wizard, magician, all that mixed into one. Maybe Trump has what I would consider one of the biggest secrets of them all. Secrets to manipulate time, not just chronokinesis, manipulating perception of time. I mean, actually being able to manipulate time, manipulate events. Sky is a clock, and we're literally on the face of it, just like if you want to go to the Bible, the face of the earth. So if the sky above us is a clock, the zodiac wheel is the 12 steps. It's a clock. Then time travel, for me, it makes sense in my mind, because then you're able to go counterclockwise so fast, you're traveling back in time.
You must maintain awareness at all times. Stay in the shadows.
I am hearing answers that raise more questions. A wise strategist gathers all his information before deciding on a course of action.
You are not dealing with Krang anymore, but dangerous human soldiers who are far more organized.